It's easy to list all the ways that a chronic illness has negatively impacted your daily life. The medical bills, low energy, severe symptoms, limited functionality, etc. But what if it's possible that a chronic illness actually benefits us in some way? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. But first, welcome to Fitness with an Illness. My name is Ryan. Here we like to talk about how to navigate the struggles of a chronic illness, still push forward through that illness, and continue to improve our health in the process. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate it if you consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out, and you never know if it might help somebody else too. Thank you. Now, back to the video. I have been sick with chronic fatigue syndrome for now almost 3 years, and it's very easy now at this point in the illness to look at all the negative, to look at all the ways that my life has changed for the worse. But here's the thing. Anyone can do that. Everyone knows how to complain about life. That's not difficult at all. That is the path of least resistance, to complain about our circumstances. What's more difficult is to try and find the positive in a negative situation. And that's what we're going to explore today. You see, oftentimes in life's most challenging moments, this is when we see who we truly are. These are the moments that define us and shape us into the person that we are becoming. And these difficult moments often reveal who we really are, whether it's good or bad. The true you is going to come out if you're going through something difficult. It's just natural. Are you actually a patient person? Maybe not. Are you really as carefree as you once thought? Not likely. Are you really as loving as you used to think? Absolutely not. Now, although all of that sounds kind of negative up front, I think it's actually really good that we learn this stuff about ourselves, that we learn what our faults are and we learn what our weaknesses are. It's how we grow in life, by recognizing our shortcomings and learning and growing through them. You see, one thing I've always thought about myself is I've always thought that I'm a pretty patient person. Now, what's funny is, given the right circumstances, like let's say a chronic illness where I've been pent up in my house for almost 3 years and rarely getting out, well, it's amazing that you start to realize that, you know what, I'm actually not that patient after all. It's a very enlightening experience when you go through something difficult in life, because it shows you your most raw, vulnerable, and natural state, which is a good thing. I've also found myself to have a much shorter fuse. I get more easily irritated with the kids. My compassion towards others can falter rather quickly, and I can even become much more judgmental at times. And also, I'm admitting all of this as a self-proclaimed Christian, so I should know better. Even if I'm sick, I should still know how to love and care for others. But chronic fatigue syndrome has taken a giant spotlight and shined it right on my heart and revealed everything about me, about my most raw and vulnerable states, the things that make me angry, the things that try my patience. It's really exposed a whole lot of Ryan. And surprise, Ryan is not a very perfect person. But sometimes this is a lesson that needs to be learned. There are times in life where we simply need an outside source to expose our own flaws so that we can begin to start moving ourselves in the right direction. And I think that's what chronic fatigue syndrome has done for me. Not all the lessons learned from chronic fatigue are quite so harsh. Some of them are just as simple as giving me a new and different perspective on life, which is a good thing. I now have so much greater respect for people who battle with their weight. For so long, when I was healthy, I was able to exercise whenever I wanted to and for as long as I wanted. No problem staying trim and fit. But now I have learned that sometimes life really does put fitness on the back burner because we have to focus our attention elsewhere. And that's not always sickness. That can be taking care of kids, having to work a second job, or just simply having too many things on your plate. It's also given me a greater appreciation for the things that I used to be able to do. Things like running, social gatherings, hiking, working a regular job. These are all things that I used to take for granted. And it makes me really appreciate it when I get a momentary glimpse of any of these activities in my life. Here's what I mean. I complain about not being able to run. But what about the person who has spent their whole life in a wheelchair? They never got to experience that feeling, but I did. I long for the day that I can go out to a restaurant for dinner and not get symptoms afterwards. And yet, there are children in the world who have eaten rice and beans every single day of their life. I dream of going for a hike again, But what about the woman who was born paralyzed from the waist down and has never been able to move on her own? I used to complain about my day job because it was tiring or not that glamorous or I wasn't paid enough. And yet there are some people whose disabilities have prevented them from working their entire lives. Recently, I even saw a post online of a friend who just got his driver's license for the first time in his life, and he's almost 30 years old now. It's a super exciting moment for him, but it really humbled me and gave me the perspective that not everyone in life is given the same opportunities. But I'm not sure that I would have fully appreciated these things had I not gotten sick myself. Isn't it just amazing how we can be so arrogant and take life for granted so much that we don't even appreciate the suffering of the others around us until we ourselves are suffering? It's one of the many flaws in the human condition. Chronic illness has slowed me down enough that I have to look around at the world around me and look at things a little bit differently. And I appreciate that because these are lessons that I have learned that I will be able to carry with me for the rest of my life. The reality is we don't know what people are going through in life. And I so often love to complain about how people just don't understand me or my symptoms or my situation. And that's ironic because never before in my life have I truly slowed down to consider other people's circumstances so seriously. Life is hard and everyone has their own challenges that they face. I think that we don't often take enough time to stop and consider what other people might be going through in their own lives. Possibly even those people that we don't like. Ouch! I feel like that one hurts me a little bit personally. To stop and think that the people who irritate me the most might actually have their own challenges and struggles in their own life that they have to navigate through, and that maybe even those struggles have actually shaped them into the person they are today because they've had to go through so much stuff and they still have all this baggage that they have to deal with and work through. I think we just need to stop and give each other a little bit more grace sometimes. So I hope that the next time you or I see someone struggling or going through something difficult, we will take a moment and consider just how challenging that might be for them. I think that if we all gave each other a bit more grace, the world might be just a little bit better place to live. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Please let me know if your chronic illness or any trial in your life has taught you valuable lessons that you now carry with you on a daily basis. All right, my friends, as always, thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me. Please take care of yourselves. God bless, and we will see you in the next one. Adios.